Dave Bing was a point guard who played the position far ahead of his time, as he was lean, athletic, and explosive for a guard, attacking the rim on drives and hitting jump shots, being known more for his scoring, which was uncommon for most point guards during the time period. That didn't mean Bing couldn't pass it though, as he excelled there as well, distributing the ball at a high rate, becoming a smart player and person, which all accumulated into Dave Bing becoming a 7-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA selection, Rookie of the Year, NBA scoring champ, and an All-Star Game MVP, later going on to be acknowledged as one of the best players in NBA history, making the NBA's 50th and 75th anniversary teams, which was mighty impressive considering Dave Bing played his career with bad vision, having 2 serious eye injuries. Yet as you can tell, that did not stop Bing from putting together a Hall of Fame caliber career. This is a look back on Dave Bing's Hall of Fame career. Dave Bing was born and raised in Washington, D.C., and at the age of 5, Bing would suffer a serious eye injury when he tripped on a rusty nail that poked his eye. His family couldn't afford the surgery, so they had to let it heal naturally, causing Dave Bing to live the rest of his life with blurriness in his left eye. This wouldn't stop Bing from playing baseball and basketball growing up in a dominant fashion over older kids he played against all the time, while also forging a friendship with future musician Marvin Gaye. Later on, Dave Bing attended Spingarn High School, where he'd thrive on the court, being featured in a Parade magazine and made the All-American team. With multiple colleges after Dave Bing, he would decide to attend Syracuse. Bing, as soon as he hit the floor at Syracuse, became the leading scorer on the team. By Bing's senior year, he was leading the Orangemen in all 3 major categories, in points with 28.4, assists with 6.6, and rebounds with 10.6, becoming a consensus first-team All-American as he was 5th in the nation in scoring and led Syracuse into the NCAA tournament, where Dave Bing and Jim Boeheim took Syracuse to the Elite 8 before falling to Jack Marin and Duke. After the strong year, Dave Bing was considered by some to be the top prospect in the draft, as Bing was lean, athletic, and explosive for a point guard, functioning as a playmaker distributing the ball, but also did so much more in shooting and scoring than most point guards. In the 1966 NBA draft, Dave Bing was drafted 2nd overall by the Detroit Pistons. Bing was joining a struggling Pistons team coming off several losing seasons, with the team being led by Dave DeBusschere and Eddie Miles. Dave Bing in his rookie year took very little time to adjust to the NBA, leading the Pistons in scoring with 20 points and assists with 4.1, while also grabbing 4.5 rebounds a game, winning Bing the Rookie of the Year. Dave Bing's play had helped the Pistons improve from the year prior, but they were still a ways away from contention, going 30-51, missing the playoffs. Bing would build off a strong rookie season next year, developing into one of the best players in the entire league. Dave Bing went on to lead the league in scoring, averaging 27.1 points to go along with 6.4 assists and 4.7 rebounds, helping him make his first All-Star appearance and make the All-NBA first team. Bing's emergence into a superstar, the Pistons drafting Jimmy Walker and trading for Happy Hairston mid-year, saw the Detroit Pistons make the playoffs as a 4 seed after going 40-42. Round 1, the Pistons faced the Boston Celtics, who were in the midst of their dynasty headed by Bill Russell, Sam Jones, John Havlicek, and Bailey Howell. The Pistons would surprise the Celtics, jumping out to a 2-1 lead as Bing had led the way in scoring in the first 3 games. The Celtics woke up after the initial shock, winning the next 3 games and the series 4-2, despite Bing's best efforts, in particular in Game 6, as he scored 44 points. Dave Bing had a strong showing in his first postseason experience, averaging 28.2 points, 4.8 assists, and 4 rebounds. Next season came around and the Pistons had hoped to improve off its playoff berth, but they would find themselves back to their old ways, floundering, resulting in the Pistons trading away Dave DeBusschere for Walt Bellamy. Bellamy's addition correlated in a slight dip in scoring for Bing to 23.4 points, but an increase in assists to 7.1, while Bing also grabbed 5 rebounds a game, earning his 2nd All-Star nod. The highlight of the year for Dave Bing this season would be his performance against the Bullets, where he notched a triple-double, scoring 39 points, grabbing a career-high 16 rebounds, and handed out 10 assists. Bing also set a career-high in assists in a game, and a separate one, handing out 19 of them. However, the personal success, the team did not follow suit, going 32-50, missing the playoffs. Next season seemed to have more of the same lack of success, but the team dynamic was changing. Happy Hairston and Eddie Miles were traded away as Jimmy Walker was stepping into his own, and Walt Bellamy would also find himself being dealt after falling out of favor in the rotation. All the moves did not affect Dave Bing's output, as he went on to average 22.9 points, 6 assists, and 4.3 rebounds, for a Pistons team that went 31-51, missing the playoffs. After a poor season, the Pistons had the first pick in the draft, selecting Bob Lanier, which bolstered the team instantly. Dave Bing, alongside Lanier, seemed to open up, going on to average 27 points, 5 assists, and 4.4 rebounds, becoming an all-star again and was first-team All-NBA. Bing's best game of the season was when he scored a career and then franchise high of 54 points. The Pistons had improved drastically, finishing the year at 45-37, yet missed the playoffs. Entering next year, the Pistons felt confident that they could make the playoffs, as Lanier and Bing was the duo of the future in Detroit. Things would take a turn, though, in the preseason game, where Bing would get hit in the eye, suffering a detached retina, causing him to miss almost the entire first half of the season. Bing, when he came back, had to adapt his play style into becoming more of a passer, as he struggled to see clearly the rest of his career, stating he could never quite make out faces on the court after his second eye injury, and only just the jersey colors for who's who. However, it did not seem to slow Dave Bing down much, as he went on to average 22.6 points, 7 assists, and 4.1 rebounds in the remaining 45 games. Bing's return to the team was all too late, as they were a shell of themselves without him, finishing the year at 26-56, missing the playoffs. In the offseason, the Pistons would trade away Jimmy Walker, making Bing and Lanier the absolute focal points on the team, where Bing took a second option to Lanier, averaging 22.4 points, 7.8 assists, and 3.6 rebounds, making it back to the All-Star game. With a healthy Bing, the Pistons bounced back somewhat, finishing the year at 40-42, but missed the playoffs again. Dave Bing next season played a similar role, going on to average 18.8 points, 6.9 assists, and 3.5 rebounds, picking up another All-Star appearance, as the Pistons were finally hitting their stride with Lanier and Bing, setting a then-franchise record, going 52-30, making the playoffs as a 3-seed, getting a series against the Chicago Bulls with Bob Love, Chet Walker, Jerry Sloan, and Norm Van Leer. The series was an evenly matched one, as the star players shined, with the series ending up going to a Game 7, with the Pistons entering as favorites, as Sloan had picked up an injury in the game prior. Yet a big game from Chet Walker gave the Bulls the lead by 2 with 3 seconds left in the game after he connected on a jump shot. The ensuing play for the Pistons being attempted to inbound the ball to Lanier, but it would be tipped away, ending the game and the series. Dave Bing was a large reason why the Pistons had almost advanced to the next round, despite his slip-up in the final seconds of Game 7, as he averaged 18.9 points, 6 assists, and 3.7 rebounds over the series. Next year, Dave Bing kept up the same form, going on to average 19 points, 7.7 assists, and 3.6 rebounds, but the Pistons team couldn't recapture its form from the other year, dropping games along the way to finish the season at 40-42, making the playoffs as a 5-seed, meeting the Seattle Supersonics Round 1 with Spencer Haywood and Fred Brown. In the best-of-3 series, Fred Brown had gotten hot, defeating the Pistons 2-1. Over the series, Dave Bing averaged 16 points, 3.7 rebounds, and a playoff-leading 9.7 assists. In the offseason, after another year without much playoff success, the Pistons wanted to trade Bing, who agreed to waive his no-trade clause for the right situation. Dave Bing would be traded by the Detroit Pistons to the Washington Bullets for a future first-round pick that became Tree Rollins and Kevin Porter, with Bing willingly waiving the no-trade clause to make the deal happen, as he was headed back home to Washington, D.C., joining a playoff-caliber Bullets team led by Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld, and Phil Chenier. Dave Bing's role in Washington was to be the third option on the team to Hayes and Chenier. Bing excelled in his role, averaging 16.2 points, 6 assists, making the All-Star game, where he'd put together his best performance in an All-Star game, scoring 16 points with 4 assists, leading the Eastern Conference squad to a victory, winning the All-Star game MVP for his efforts. Afterwards, the Bullets would go on to finish the season strong, going 48-34, making the playoffs as a 3-seed, meeting the Cleveland Cavaliers Round 1, who were a deep and well-balanced team with technically no true stars. The Bullets would take Game 1, holding off a comeback from the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers bounced back, winning Game 2 late on a deep shot from Bingo Smith, becoming miracle number 1 for Cleveland. Game 3 back in Cleveland, the Cavaliers set a then playoff record for attendance, helping the team win a defensive battle. The Game 4, the Bullets tied the series back up at home. Game 5 back in Cleveland, the Cavaliers beat their record they had just set for playoff attendance, and the game was another battle as Washington would hold the lead late by 1, looking like they were about to win the game with 7 seconds remaining, with Elvin Hayes going to the free throw line. Hayes, however, surprisingly missed both, creating a chance for Cleveland, and the ball would be passed into Bingo Smith again in the clutch moment, but he would shoot a reckless shot that airballed. Fortunately, Jim Clemens was there corralling the ball, who would hit the buzzer beater when winning the game, becoming miracle number 2. Elvin Hayes, clearly upset after missing the 2 free throws, punished the Cavaliers in Game 6, giving the Bullets the win in overtime, creating a winner-go-home Game 7 back in Cleveland, who, of course, again broke the attendance record. Cleveland and Washington were in for another dogfight as the game was close, with Phil Chenier tying the game up late with 24 seconds remaining. The following play for the Cleveland Cavaliers was drawn up for Dick Snyder to hit a jump shot. Things would go awry as Snyder was pressured, having to drive, where he would throw up a prayer of a floater that miraculously banked in, giving the Cavaliers the lead with 4 seconds remaining, becoming miracle number 3. The Bullets still had a look to finish the game off, inbounding the ball to Hayes, who would stumble, creating a look for Phil Chenier, who had the hot hand but would ultimately miss the shot as Nate Thurmond deflected it, advancing the Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals, with their team going down as the Miracle of Richfield, sending the Bullets home packing. Dave Bing over the series averaged 13.7 points and 4 assists. Next season, the Bullets would have a new coach in Dick Motta, who would reduce Bing's playing time and play him more as a shooting guard than his natural point, eventually being moved to coming off the bench. Dave Bing, as a result, saw a drop in his numbers to 10.6 points and 4.3 assists. All the while, the Bullets put together a similar season to the year prior, going 48-34, getting the 3 seed, and another shot at the Cleveland Cavaliers. This time there were no miracles as Chenier and Hayes took it to Cleveland, advancing to round 2, winning the series 2-1. Round 2 brought the Houston Rockets with Moses Malone, Rudy Tomjanovich, and Calvin Murphy. The Bullets jumped out to an early 2-1 series lead with breakout performances from Mitch Kupchak. As the series wore on, though, it favored the Rockets trio, spearheaded by Malone, winning the series 4-2 for the Rockets. Dave Bing over the playoffs played sparingly, only averaging 4 points. Entering next season, Bing had wanted a larger role like he had initially, and butted heads with Motta over his situation, with the Bullets deciding to release him afterwards as Bing wanted a new home. Dave Bing, as a free agent, went on to sign a contract joining the Boston Celtics, because he had wanted to join a competitor as the Celtics were coming off of several years of playoff success led by the core of John Havlicek, JoJo White, Dave Cowens, and Charlie Scott. The Celtics' playoff hopes would fall apart, though, as John Havlicek announced before the season it was going to be his last year in the league. JoJo White went on and got injured, and Charlie Scott was traded away as the team was spiraling downwards, as the Celtics would miss the playoffs going 32-50. Dave Bing this season, through his team's downfall, averaged 13.6 points and 3.8 assists. After the disappointing year was done, Dave Bing decided to retire after 12 years in the NBA. Dave Bing, over his career, averaged 20.3 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 6 assists. In retirement, Dave Bing would go on to be acknowledged for his playing career, getting inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame in 1990, also becoming the first Detroit Piston to ever get his jersey retired, and was a part of the NBA 50th and 75th anniversary teams, being recognized as one of the best players in all of NBA history. Post-playing days, Bing went on to become a successful businessman, starting Bing Steel, later transforming into Bing Group, being a middleman cutting steel for General Motors, and by 1985, Bing had expanded into 2 plants with 63 employees, posting revenues of $40 million, with Dave Bing being awarded the National Minority Small Business Person of the Year by President Ronald Reagan. Bing's venture off the courts continued further into politics, going on to later become the mayor of Detroit for a period of time. Dave Bing will be remembered as a basketball player who was ahead of his time at the point guard position, being lean and athletic and explosive, attacking the rim for points and relying on his jump shot, while freeing up looks for his teammates, distributing the ball nicely. All the while never having great vision on the court, having 2 serious eye injuries. But that did not seem to slow Bing down at all, as he went on to become one of the best players in history, making 7 All-Star teams, 3 All-NBA teams, becoming the scoring champ, Rookie of the Year, and the All-Star Game MVP, adding all up into a Hall of Fame career and a top 75 player all time, starring for the Detroit Pistons even though his team lacked playoff success. Bing made the most of a tough situation, becoming a face of the Pistons and its first superstar. Thanks for watching this video on Dave Banks' career. If you want to see any other videos about any other random NBA players, let me know in the comments below and I may or may not decide to do them. Who knows? Thanks again for watching. This has been Skid Denver.